Hi friends, welcome to yet another video on Essential Life Skills with me, Richa. And today we're going to talk about how to get rid of an addiction. Well, I'm going to share a small story which happened with my best friend. A couple of years back, my friend started gambling, and he started as a hobby with his other friends. Very soon that hobby became an addiction, and slowly and steadily he got so deep into the world of gambling that he lost all contacts with people around him. He was addicted to gambling, so much so that he was making losses in lakhs and lakhs of rupees, but he was not able to think logically and trying to get out of the situation. So much so that his friends, his family members, his parents were fed up with him, and actually he went into depression, thought about even ending his life. Well friends, the reason I'm sharing this story with you is probably this has happened with either you or any of your friends. Our country is really having a lot of people who are struggling with addiction. People are addicted to food, smoking, drugs, gambling, etc. When this kind of struggle really overtakes your mind, your body, you feel like a slave to this addiction. And today in this video tutorial, we are going to talk about ways to overcome an addiction. Well friends, a lot of people actually think that in order to get over an addiction, the simple thing that you need to do is have enough willpower or a strong willpower. Well, that is not a correct way of thinking, or rather it is faulty thinking, and it is a myth. Because the more stronger your willpower is, the more you will something, the more deeper and deeper you go into that particular addiction, and that is something that's not going to help you get rid of that addiction. So how do you overcome this addiction habit? Well, if you or anyone else you know is suffering or rather struggling with any kind of addiction, here's the good news. God has some clear solution to get over, or rather rid of, this discussion on addiction. So keep watching. We're going to now discuss certain tips and tricks which will help you get rid of addiction habit. Well friends, the first tip in order to get rid of your addiction is self-determination. You need to coax yourself and rather talk positively to yourself that you are getting over this habit of whatever you're addicted to. You need to have enough willpower and self-determination. But mind you friends, do not get so bogged down by having a strong willpower or self-determination that you harm yourself or starve yourself out of this addiction. You need to have sufficient amount of self-determination, have a strong power over your mind, because your mind is very fickle and it can lead you into not wanting to give up an addiction. So you need to really coax your mind and have positive self-determination in order to get rid of any addiction. So friends, my second tip in order to get rid of your addiction is make your plan of action. Well, if you are addicted to something over months and years time, it's not easy to get rid of that addiction in a day's time or even overnight. So you need to have a proper plan of action as to how you will slowly and steadily get rid of your addiction. So you need to have a plan of action ready. The third tip in order to get rid of your addiction is change your lifestyle. Start by doing simple things like changing the kind of friends you hang out with, or change the places that you go to normally. When you get rid of these routine tasks or routine people whom you hang out with, your mind is slowly and steadily tricked into getting rid of this addiction. You might not realize it immediately, but over a period of time. So start changing your lifestyle, or rather start changing the things that you do in your day-to-day routine life. That's the third tip. My fourth tip in order to get rid of your addiction is be courageous. Well, it's important to have a lot of courage, because getting rid of an addiction is not at all going to be easy, and you can take that down in writing. Giving up something that is really not being able to think in a logical or a practical manner can make you have less and less courage in yourself. So start hanging out with people who actually give you a lot of pep talk and give you a lot of encouragement. So have that kind of company wherein you feel encouraged to do something. That's the fourth tip. Friends, my fifth tip in order to get rid of an addiction is be responsible. Well, we all are responsible people when we want to be responsible. So just think of it in this way, that by your addiction to a particular thing, it could be gambling or drugs or alcohol, who are the people getting affected by it. If you are a parent, your child could be affected, or if you are a child, your parent could be affected by it. If you are married, your spouse can be affected by this addiction. At office or workplace, your colleagues might get affected. So try and be responsible as a person and try to get rid over this addiction by being a little responsible about your actions and your deeds. So friends, my tip number 6 in order to overcome, or rather get rid of your addiction, is overcome your fear. If you have fear in your mind, you will never ever be able to get rid of an addiction. You need to constantly and positively tell yourself to get rid of this fear which is stopping you from getting rid over an addictive habit. So hence it's important to overcome your fears and conquer all your fears with a positive attitude, and you will see yourself slowly and steadily getting rid of an addictive habit. Friends, my last and final, the 7th tip in order to get rid of your addiction is by trying to be as simply as a normal person and try and get as much support you can from a group which is supportive of you. Well, there are a lot of people around you who are already trying to overcome an addictive habit like gambling or trying to get over drugs or smoking, etc. Try and get yourself acquainted or friends with such kind of groups, because the moment you have somebody to share your thoughts with, it tries and you rather become a little more positive about getting rid of your addiction. So try and find these support groups in your city, in your locality, and try having this conversation of getting rid of your addictive habits. Friends, these were my 7 tips of how to overcome or get rid of an addiction. So friends, a quick recap of all the 7 points in order to get rid of your addiction. Tip number 1, have a lot of self-determination. Tip number 2, make your plan of action. Tip number 3, have a good lifestyle, or rather change your lifestyle. Tip number 4, be responsible. Tip number 5, be courageous. Tip number 6, overcome your fears. And last but not the least, tip number 7, get your support group. Well friends, we do hope you have enjoyed listening to this video as much as we have enjoyed teaching you this. Keep watching for more videos coming up. Thank you so much for watching us.